Daniel, can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah, we can hear you fine. You sound
Okay.
great.
My name is Mary Boyer. I'm with the World Bank. I'm a disaster risk management specialist.
I'm Carrie Cox, a senior communications consultant with the World Bank as well.
And you're here for the session on Hurricane Hurry, protecting your country's finances in a crisis. So we've also been able to triage our method of play a bit. Obviously, we're doing this all virtual, but fortunately, we created a virtual game platform that we have adapted to deal with these situations. So I'm going to get started by introducing how we got here in terms of why we decided to develop this game.
I'll just share screen with you. Is everyone seeing screen?
Yeah, it looks great.
Okay. So disasters have been costly in the Caribbean. Everyone knows this. For the last few decades, we've primarily been focusing on, how to reduce risk from physical assets, how to, that was the Zoom presentation. How to reduce risk, to, rebuild more resiliently, how to, understand risk, but we have not been paying a lot of attention to making sure that these disasters don't turn into economic crises. In the Caribbean, over the past few decades, multiple events have caused damage of more than 50% of GDP. This is tremendous impact for these small island states. So this is where we chose to focus our efforts in helping countries to develop disaster risk financing strategies that allow them to access immediate liquidity in a cost-effective way instead of waiting until after the event strikes to try and find expensive loans. So we think about Hurricane Maria in 2017. It hit Dominica in September, caused damages of more than 230% of GDP. Dominica had a lot of financial instruments under its belt. I shouldn't say a lot, but it had a few, like access to the Caribbean Catastrophe Risk Insurance Facility that paid out some immediate liquidity. It had a small reserve fund, and it received a lot of international assistance. But the challenge was how to get this financing to where it's needed and quickly. It was lacking the systems in place to do immediate expenditures and also to assess needs quickly and disperse funding. And disasters also affect different populations, of course, in different ways. So how to get this financing to farmers or to business owners, and how can these different populations either have access to immediate liquidity or have the kind of insurance in place to have access to a payment. So as I mentioned, disaster risk financing strategy that we were trying to develop with some of our governments was typically led by ministries of finance in collaboration with disaster management agencies and other ministries. In the Caribbean, disasters really affect almost every sector of the government and even private sector. So this was a widespread cross-sectoral and cross-government initiative, but led by ministries of finance. And it includes more than just instruments. It includes the legal institutional frameworks or the enabling environment that allows for quick disbursement of funds. And this starts before a disaster in collecting data on historical losses and damages, having budgetary frameworks in place that allow for even things as small as tweaking the chart of accounts to ensure that you're able to track post-disaster expenditures. It should address all stages of post-disaster cycle, including accessing immediate funds for relief, then funds for recovery, and then, of course, collaborating with public works to address needs for reconstruction. The instruments are also tailored to the country's risks, meaning that you should seek instruments and perhaps parametric insurance for some of your most prominent risks. In the Caribbean, that could be hurricane, wind insurance or excess rainfall insurance, but also stay flexible for risks that you can't anticipate, like a pandemic or other threats. tried to convey to our partners. But this is a lot of information. I'll go through it quickly, and then I'll turn it over to Carrie, who can explain how we really communicated this. So the basic keystone of disaster risk financing is having the data and analytics available to make data-informed decisions. So having risk information, an understanding of what are the major risks from natural hazards in your country. So risk models, estimation of potential damage costs, as well as your investment decisions. One of the key principles is cost effectiveness. Talk about transferring the higher risk. That means start using other instruments to transfer your high layers of risk to international markets. For example, to purchase it, you're going to purchase insurance that covers those bigger accidents. So for countries, covering the larger catastrophes through transferring that risk, and having something like a reserve fund available for immediate liquidity, emergency expenses so the government can quickly access. So we'll talk about a risk layering approach, and timeliness of funding. Speed matters, but not all resources are needed at once. So as long as you have immediate liquidity available through instruments such as your reserve fund or CRIF, the Caribbean Catastrophe Risk Insurance Facility, you should be planning to have enough for your emergency costs, and then a plan to access larger funds for those recovery expenditures. Risk layering, I mentioned before, no single financial instrument can meet all funding needs. And then disbursement of funds is just as important as actually accessing the funds. You need dedicated mechanisms in place to effectively target beneficiaries and then allocate, disperse, and of course monitor and evaluate how well that worked for you. Carrie?
Communications is a very important part of this process. As Mary said, the information that we develop in disaster risk financing and through the analytics that are conducted can be very technical. And then we're also working with a number of ministries, not just the Ministry of Finance, but also technical line ministries, disaster management agencies that really need to receive this information. So it's taking technical information, trying to simplify it as much as possible and tailor it so that it reaches a number of audiences. And the way that we've done that over the years is by developing a suite of products, not just reports. We're trying to look past reports, which are important because they summarize the analytics that have been conducted, convey the methodology, and showcase also the strategies that countries can implement. But we're also working with other products and materials that can better convey information in a concise manner. So we've also developed video they want to, and then this game simulation that you'll experience today. And with that, I will hand over to Daniel to talk a bit more about development of this virtual game. It started as a physical game that we were playing with government officials that we played in St. Martin in 2019 with government officials from St. Martin as well as other areas in the Caribbean. But once COVID happened, of course, we had to adjust the game for a more virtual platform, a hybrid platform as well. So Daniel can talk about that process.
Thank you, Carrie. I don't know, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Fantastic. Hi, I'm Daniel Stevens. I am the founder and CEO of Good Games, the creator of the digital version of Hurricane Hurry. And as Carrie said, this was originally a physical game that was played in person with a board and everyone gathered in one place, which was really fun. And it worked fantastically, of course, until the pandemic hit. And then once the pandemic hit, it required us to kind of rethink a new modality of play. And since everything seemed to be moving online and Zoom conferences were becoming more and more ubiquitous and replacing obviously in-person conferences that we couldn't have any longer, that seemed like the logical place to go. We'd already been developing games also due to the pandemic for some other clients, basically taking experiences that they were doing in person and bringing them into a digital platform. So he had developed a digital platform that could support this already. And so bringing Hurricane Hurry into that digital platform just seemed like a very logical choice. I had already worked a little bit with the World Bank with the original version of the game, the version that was a board game, a physical game. And so I had some understanding of the game mechanics. We worked with the game's designer, Pablo Suarez, to take those physical mechanics and bring them into the digital world. And the result is the game you're about to play, Hurricane Hurry, the digital version. And it seems to be working really well. We've gone through some various iterations as we've tweaked the mechanics and the modality of play to make it more engaging and more effective in an online environment like this. And I hope you enjoy the game experience, which hopefully will start shortly. Thank you. Oh, Pablo, I can't hear you. There you go.
Hello, friends. I'm Pablo. I am part of the team that helped make this creative, innovative, engaging approach to risk financing happen. I see Daniel frozen, so I wonder if you can hear me. If so, can someone speak out or write in the chat to confirm that I am not speaking into the void?
We can hear you, Pablo.
Otherwise, I can keep going. Can you check in the WhatsApp if all is good?
Yes,
so
Pablo,
friends,
we can hear you fine.
Oh, it says reconnecting to the session. Come. Okay, reconnected. Let's see. Is it true that I am reconnected? Can you hear me now?
We can hear you fine, Pablo.
Let's assume yes. In case what I just said wasn't heard, I'm Pablo. I have been supporting this World Bank team in the creation of an unconventional, engaging way to have us all be part of a learning experience of what it means to try to be ready financially for the shocks that are imposed by extreme events in places like the Caribbean and beyond. So what we're going to do over the coming few hours is to give you all a taste of how this works. We normally play the game either face-to-face or through a Zoom platform where I can see other participants. My assumption is that in this instance, I will not be able to see the faces of others. If I am mistaken, and you can turn your camera on and I can, otherwise I will adapt the facilitation to the current circumstances. So we're going to talk about to see the chat where participants can write chat. Excellent. Okay, good. I see Raja, Daniel. Now I can see what you're saying. Thank you, friends. And again, thank you for your patience. Everything has been changing, and here we are adapting to what comes our way in the best tradition of disaster managers. So here we go. This object, my friends, may look like a die, but in this activity, it is the probability density function of extreme events based on the historical record of precipitation. So most of the time, things are normal, not too much, not too little. And if something normal happens and you take some kind of normal investment in the pursuit of prosperity, you win 1 point if you do a thumbs up. When we play in a room with people, I say, can you show me your thumbs up? And everyone does this. And I say, well, if you do this, you win 1 point. If you do this, if you do 2 thumbs up, you go in 2 points, assuming there is no disaster. Can I invite people in the chat to write one TU for one thumbs up, just so that I see that you can hear me and you can express yourselves. If you can, please write in the chat one TU, which means you're doing one thumbs up. Excellent. Thank you, Raja. That's exactly what I wanted to see. If Raja does this and normal circumstances happen, Raja wins 1 point. Oh, Devon is doing one thumbs up like in the actual icon. Thank you, Devon. That's great. I don't know how to do that. I'm technologically incompetent. Now, let's imagine you are going for a thumbs up. You're trying to win a point through your investment, and unfortunately, you get hit by a shock. The extreme event knocks down your thumbs up. You lose your investment, and you get a broken heart. Not good. Unless you invest in protection. Just like yesterday, some people were wearing an umbrella to protect against too much rain. That prevents the loss, prevents the broken heart. In the fiction of this game, you can protect against extreme events by doing a shield. In a room, I would ask people to show me their shield. If we are going to play online, I'm going to ask you to write one S for one shield, or if any of you know how to make the little emoji thing for shields, you can do it. Can you please show me in the chat you're doing one shield? Thank you, Raja. That is not 1 second, that is one shield. So here's what we're going to do now. We are going to play the game in a very simple way. I am going to throw these dice twice. It's going to fall here. Let me relocate there. The die is not loaded or anything strange. I'm going to roll the dice twice. Each of you has a choice. If you think that this is unlikely to happen, you can do double thumbs up or 2 TU or 2 thumbs up icon. If you do that and there's no extreme event, you win 2 points. But if there's one or more extreme events, you lose those and you get 2 broken hearts, 2 crises. If you fear that there may be 1 6 and then another 6, which is unlikely but possible, you can do 2 shields. The first shield gets used by the first extreme event. The second shield gets used by the second extreme event. You get 0 points because you didn't do any thumbs up, but at least you don't get a crisis. If you think, maybe we will get 1 extreme event, so you could do 1 shield and 1 thumbs up. So you would write either 1 TU, 1 S, or 2 TU, or 2 S. If you're confused, live with it, because the world of disaster management is complicated. But I hope that you can express in the chat one of those decisions before the end of the countdown, which is coming in 10 seconds. Yes, Raja, if you're confused, that's the nature of it. I'm going to roll this twice. What do you think may happen? If you fear that there may be 2 6s, one and the other, you only invest in double shield, which protects you against the extreme event. If you think, I don't think this will happen, most likely will be 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5, one and then the other, you can do 2 thumbs up, you win 2 points. If you think maybe 1 extreme event will happen, you can do 1 and 1. And when I say you can do double thumbs up, I mean that you type 2 TU or 2 thumbs up. So now is your turn to write either 2 TU for 2 thumbs up, or 2 S for 2 shields, or 1 TU, 1 S. The player that has the most thumbs up surviving is the winner. So do one of those 3. Double thumbs up, double shield, or 1 and 1. Express it in the chat. You have 10 seconds. Good luck to you making decisions. Please write in the chat. Daniel proposes 2 thumbs up. Devon goes for 1 and 1. Raja, you have invested 1 thumbs up, but you have 2 investment units. Do you want to add a second one, either an additional thumbs up or a shield? Excellent, 1 and 1. I am going to be paranoid and do double shield. Let's see. Oh, I should give you the countdown. 3, 2, 1, stop. My friends, here we go. Let me roll it a little more. Here we are. First roll, it's a 5. It was a lot of rain, but not enough to cause trouble. That means that I invested double thumbs up, double shield. One of them was wasted, at least, because there wasn't all extreme events. Let's see about the second roll. A 1, no problem. So Daniel, who went for 2 thumbs up, Daniel just won 2 points. Devon and Raja, who invested 1 thumbs up, won 1 point, but the shield that they invested in didn't get used because there was no extreme event. They missed the opportunity to win a point like Daniel did. Of course, Daniel would have had a crisis and a broken heart if there had been a 6, which was entirely possible. I hope you understood the gist of the game. Now to move on to the next round. In the next round, it's the same game. You're going to make decisions. Do you want to win points with thumbs up, or do you want to protect yourself with shields, or some combination? But instead of rolling this object twice, we're going to roll it 10 times. So you're going to have 10 investment units. Of course, it becomes a little complicated to do this via the chat. So Daniel is going to share with you a link in the chat. If you click in that link, you will be able to activate it in the laptop, or Daniel, if you prefer to show the QR code, then people activate it with their phone, whichever works best for participants. There we are. If you click there, you can see, and maybe can you click here so that we activate the, Kerry and I are trying to do some teamwork. In the past, we have succeeded, so I have a forecast that it will be good. Our website is loading slowly because we have the internet we have, but very soon what should happen is that you get an invitation. Welcome to Hurricane Harry. It's yeah, let's stop that. Okay. So, Daniel, if you want to guide the participants through this portion, because I am unable to see the web page. Should you be able to hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Daniel, yeah, yes. And if you don't mind guiding us through, because I cannot see.
Sure. Everyone should be able to see the Welcome to Hurricane Harry. Your game will begin shortly.
Thanks. So what you should be seeing now is Welcome to Hurricane Harry. Your game will begin shortly. Daniel, if you want to advance us to the next screen, via WhatsApp. We are having a very slow connection. All right. If you can hear me, you should be able to see your decision line where you make investments, thumbs up, as you want, with the natural constraint that the total is 10. So you could get 10 thumbs up or 10 shields or some combination of your choice, knowing that we will roll the die 10 times. How many times do you think that a 6 may happen? That's how many shields you need. So maybe my colleagues can join from their phone if they want. Excellent. So I wish you success making decisions. If you think that out of 10 rolls of the die, there will be only one and everything else can be thumbs up. If you think that a 6 may happen 6 times, then you need 6 shields. Of course, you cannot know ahead of time how many. We see on the screen Daniel's choices, and you're going to be making your own choices. There you go. I see that some people are taking more risk than others, which is the way life happens, right?
And
some
Pablo,
people prefer to live in earthquake zones, and other people prefer to live in.
I wanted to remind everyone,
Yes.
Pablo, that they are welcome to put their name in the upper left-hand corner so we can see who they are. It looks like people are doing that.
Excellent. And after you type your name in the upper left, maybe you want to click on the little pen and paper to the right of it to ensure that the data is taken by the system.
Sure. Although that's
And
no longer
so
necessary,
okay, thank you. So we are making decisions, but nature is not going to wait for us to make decisions. So nature is going to start its hurricane season soon and its rainy season soon. I see there's at least 4 players that have submitted already their choice, but we're going to start the countdown very soon. You'll have 10 seconds or so to finalize your decisions. So make your decisions. Daniel, when you want, we can start the countdown. And if you have made no decisions by the countdown, you know what, you may get fired because people want you to make decisions. In the fiction of this game, you're like a director of transport or a head of a hospital or some kind of role that is important. Okay, time is up. Let's see. Mary and Devon went for 2 shields. Daniel and Raja went for 3 shields. We can see that most people stay in the same kind of range. Now, will that be the correct choice? We don't know. Time will tell. So I'm going to roll this 10 times, and Daniel will enter manually the results into the system. First roll, it's a 2. No problem. Have a shield, you get a broken heart. Moving on to the second roll, a 4. Can you see it? Yeah, no problem. Next roll. Oh, a 6. So the first shield is used. Thank goodness most players who are active have at least 1 shield. There you go. But you see that there's some anonymous player who's probably changing diapers or doing something else, and they're in crisis because a shock happened and they didn't have a shield. So right now they can avert the crisis if they pay. If they pay 2 gold coins, which is the cost of disaster response. They don't seem to be able to do so because they run out of money. But in any case, we are going to move on to the next roll, which is, I think, for the 4th season. Here we go. A 1, for whom a 1 would be too little rain. If we're in agriculture, a 1 is trouble and you don't need a shield. You need some kind of irrigation system or something else. Moving on. Another 1. No problem. Moving on. Oh, gosh. Another 6. So it appears that 2 of our players, Mary and Devon, have just run out of shields. And we have half a game to go. Let me get my glasses to make sure I see what I need to see. So that's a very how many extreme events do you think we'll get? If none, but if one happens, they're going to be in trouble. A 4, no problem. Next round. Uh-oh, a 6. So what happens now? Devon and Mary, I'm very sorry, but you just knocked by the extreme event. You didn't have a shield, and you're now in crisis. Again, if only you had me, you could pay. You started with 11 coins. You spent 10 in buying these things. You have only 1 left in the budget. If you go to the Minister of Finance of your country and say, hey, dear Minister of Finance, I have a crisis. Can you please send me some money? What would happen in the real world? Most likely, the Minister of Finance say, I don't have money set aside for you, Joyce. If only we had seen this coming and anticipated and done things appropriately through disaster risk financing tools like the ones that the World Bank can support you with, it will be better. But you don't have that. So we're going to move on. And as of now, Daniel and Raja are the likely winners because they have 7 thumbs up, but they have run out of shields. If another 6 happens, they are going to be in trouble. So, see up this. Nature is what it is. No way. So everyone gets knocked and nobody has money and the Minister of Finance is nowhere to be found. And so what's going to happen? Look at that. A crisis occurred, says the system to Daniel. and no money available. And some of you are almost running out of thumbs up, because every time a disaster, an extreme event hits, you lose 3 thumbs up that become thumbs down, and one of them becomes a broken heart. If only you had money, you could undo 2 of those, but it is what it is. How many more? I think one more roll. Last roll. No. Jeez. You saw that you saw that I do. Well, it's a very unusual season. Maybe there was an El Nino or something and we didn't see it coming. But hey, friends, this is what happens when you don't have enough investment in protection. Well, the winners with barely 1 thumbs up are Raja, congratulations, and Daniel. Everyone else is like full of broken hearts. Well, not that Raja and Daniel don't have broken hearts, but at least they got some thumbs up, right? So what we're going to do now is advance to the next season. Daniel, if you want to take us to season 2. This additional season, we are going to begin playing in teams. So I'm going to invite that all of you go to team 1, which means clicking door number 1, and when be a director of transport, or do you remember the exact details, the first one to enter through the door will have become Minister of. There is also for this time, I advise that you don't choose the journalist, because the journalist only sees from the distance and doesn't get to make investment decisions. But if you became a journalist, you can stay there or you can change your role. So Daniel, if you could, in your own screen, click on door number 1 so I can get to see what people are seeing. Excellent. So we already have a Minister of Finance. Looks like someone has taken on transportation and agriculture. And very soon we're going to move on to same game as before, in charge of transportation, marriage, because someone else chose it before you. So you're going to have to look for another job. So Raja, correct. I'm afraid that there's only one director of agriculture in this country. So I see that Raja has just become disaster management director. Thank you, Raja. Maybe if you do your job well, the Prime Minister will upgrade you to director of agriculture next time. It's, the fast movers can get what they want, even if they're not the best ones at it. So we have Devon in charge of transportation, Mary in charge of agriculture, Raja in charge of disaster management, Daniel somewhere in there, and I believe Rashmin is the Minister of Finance. Oh, right, Daniel is the journalist. Daniel is going to have access to the cabinet meetings and will gather information and then fill the headlines either with true facts or with mildly distorted facts. We don't know. You know how the media behaves. So, just like before, each of you, Devon, Mary, and Raja, you have 10 investment units, and you are going to be able to invest in 10 thumbs up or 2 thumbs up and 8 shields or whatever combination you want, because very soon we're going to be rolling this object 10 times. I repeat, this is a normal die. It's not loaded. The fact that you got so many 6s, it's a fluke of statistics, and it happens. I see Mary is going again for a lot of thumbs up. She's hoping that it will revert to the mean. Fingers crossed, I see. Devon and Raja, you may want to look for your own. Oh, Raja is going for the thumbs up, as is Devon. But the question is, how many? Oh, look at Raja. It's like, I'm not going to be caught in trouble again. And Devon is hesitating. How many? 3, 4. Okay. If you were in a breakout room in Zoom, or if you were face-to-face, you could have a cabinet ministry, a cabinet meeting where Mary would say, "Oh, come on, you folks, you're taking too little risk. We need some thumbs up. We need to, economic development and so on." And Raj would say, "No, look, the last season was so catastrophic. Maybe that nature is going to throw many, many shocks at us." Who is right? We don't know. There is no way of knowing ahead of time. But like before, the deadline is coming. So you have a few 10 seconds or so to adjust your decisions if you want. Otherwise, it stays as it is. Daniel, feel free to get us the countdown. The Minister of Finance has 2 coins. Crisis, maybe the minister will be able to support someone with 2 coins, or maybe only one. Oh, no, we use digit randomizer, which makes everything faster and more agile. And friends, I hope you can trust us. There is a digital tool that is essentially a random generator that will determine whether you get a 1 or a 3 or a 6. In the past, strange things have happened because, as you may have heard, Mr. Aristotle 2 millennia ago said, it is in the very nature of probability All right, I am seeing some of the events have happened and no extreme events. Event 4 was a 4 so far, no shield needed. Event 5, 6, wow, this is going very well. Oh, the first extreme event happened at event 7. But everyone has enough shields, at least. Mary is a little bit nervous. Let's see how it keeps going. Oh, it's okay. All right. Here. Okay, I was like the pendulum cousin of the previous one. 10 rolls and only 1 extreme event. Is that no one got a crisis, you're all safe, but looks like you all over invested in protection. Mary
It looks like we lost Pablo for a moment, but he's reconnecting right now, and he'll be back to continue the game in a moment. I think they're having some internet instability. But I just received a message that they're coming back in right now, so hopefully everything will get underway shortly.
Okay, now it looks like I'm here. Daniel, can you confirm that I am being heard?
Absolutely, Pablo, you're back.
Hello? I'm sure you have all experienced technology in the way that I am experiencing it now. Long story short, we had a season that was very benign. Everyone overinvested in shields. And now there's journalists saying, you know, you have overinvested. Why didn't you pay more money for the fertilizer subsidies? Why didn't you fix all those potholes, Devon, in the transportation network? Raja, why weren't you doing more on the other things that you have been done, like training and so on? Everyone could have made different decisions with the limited funding, but you don't have a crystal ball that tells you exactly what the future will be. So before any season, you need to anticipate the range of possible futures and try to make your arrangements so that you can be ready for multiple possible manifestations of what awaits. So we have just experienced 2 cycles of gameplay. Where the 3rd cycle, I'm going to add a little bit of complexity. Have you heard of hurricanes? So far, we've had this benign season. The previous one was full of a lot of rain, like the one we experienced, but we haven't had any hurricanes yet. No hurricanes is seasons that show a normal probability density function, which is a 6-sided die, where a 6 counts as a shock, as an extreme event. But sometimes in the fiction of this game, in the deck of cards that nature has awaiting for us, you could get a small hurricane. A small hurricane is not a 6-sided die. When a small hurricane happens, we are going to use this special object. It is an 8 or 3 or 4 or 5 or 1 happens, no problem, thumbs up are good. But if a 6 or more happens, a 6, a 7, where is the 7, or an 8, then you get an extreme event. So 3 out of 8 are too much rain. You need, chances are, if this happens, you need more investments in shields. Okay, looks like I was vanished for a moment. Now, as mentioned, most cards are normal. Some cards are small hurricane, but there are some, let me see if I find it, like this one, big hurricane. This is quite unlikely, but if it happens, it's like a category 4 or 5, you know? It's a 20-sided die, where like before, a 4, no problem. Like before, a 6, problem. But now you have 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It's 3 times as likely to get hit by a shock if we draw this card. So what I'm going to do now is to randomly draw something from here, but you don't know which card will come out because your deadline will be before I do the drawing of the card. So now that you know that there's a few, let me show you. You don't know the exact probability distribution, but most cards are yellow. Look at that. The majority of seasons are normal, and sometimes you get a small hurricane, and very occasionally you get a large hurricane. So what are you going to do, my friends? We are moving on to the next season, and you don't know what to do, but you have to do something. It's time to start investing in shields if you fear that you may get into trouble, and to invest in thumbs up because the winner of the game is the one with the most thumbs up, and you want your ministry to do very well. Raja wants a lot of prosperity in agriculture. Devon wants a lot of better roads and airport and shipping facilities and so on. And Raja wants to train people on a normal day. He doesn't want to be like all in a state of perpetual. So what are you going to do? How many shields? How many thumbs up? Please start making your investments. I will give you a countdown, and after the countdown, we will draw a card. Start making your decisions, please. Okay, Mary is going for it. Thank you. Okay, I see Raja is investing more thumbs up than before, but not as many as Mary. And Devon is thinking, maybe 7 and 3. Okay, I don't know what will happen. And by the way, let's look at Rashmin, Minister of Finance, again, has only 2 coins. So if anyone gets in trouble, you may ask Rashmin, the minister, for help. Who knows if you'll get the help? Hopefully, yes. Let's start the countdown, Daniel, and people can adjust their decisions if they want. But when the countdown is over, it is what it is. And about 3 seconds left, and time is up. So again, most cards are yellow, but some are not. We're going to do a shuffle, shuffle, shuffle. And actually, Kerry, if you don't mind, I'm going to ask you to play the role of nature. There we go. Normal rains. So Daniel, would you like to share the role of your random generator? And we'll see what happens. People have between 2 and 4 shields. First one was already a 6. You should see the face of Mr. Minister of Finance over here. He's already fearing the worst. Moving on. I see the journalists are trying. Look at that. Oh no, says the headlines of the national newspaper. Second one was okay, no problem. Mary has only 1 shield left. The third also no problem. The good news is that we're rolling a 6-sided die, so it's not too likely that we'll get too many shocks, right? That was event 4. Event 5 is also no problem. So halfway through the season, we got only 1 extreme event. It all seems to be coming benignly, but imagine how different this would be if there had been a shock, if there had been trouble, if there had been a small hurricane card, meaning rolling an 8-sided, or even worse, a big one. So event 8 is still good. Wow, look at this. It's looking good. I think we have 2 rolls to go. 9 was also a simple one. And event 10 is no problem. Congratulations, my friend. Well, in a way, not exactly congratulations, because you have all over-invested in protection. Again, I'm sure that there are many people out there who are demanding of the government to not waste their money in other things and increase their salaries or fix their problems in the local roads, in the farming support, and so on. Things are trouble. Look at the journalists contributing a rather prosperous year, a little over-investment. Yeah, not everyone likes to invest in protection when it's not needed. Now, you can think of all that could have happened differently if we got one of those ugly cards. You can tell that if this had happened, you would have been in trouble. Probably. I mean, maybe you still roll mostly 1s and 3s and 4s, but what can we do to prepare financially for the probability of too many shocks? One of the options that are available in some places is insurance. Just like individual farmers can buy insurance against a variety of things like crop loss, nations can also buy insurance. Now, interestingly, there are kinds of insurance that do not pay out in case of a loss as measured by how much was broken or spoiled, etc., but they pay based on an observed natural phenomenon. For example, did a hurricane category 4 or bigger hit the island according to the whatever international weather something or other authority? If yes, maybe an insurance can be paid. What you see on screen is the 4 options that in this game we're making available to you to pursue some form of financial protection. In the fiction of this game, you have access to small insurance policy. Daniel, would it be possible to somehow make it bigger? I don't know if you can zoom in. I have my glasses, but I'm aging and I can't really read well. But what's an insurance policy? It's someone with a lot of money saying, hey, look, if you give me some money now, 2 things can happen. Either there's no problem as defined in our contract, including the fine print, and then I keep the money and become even richer. Or if an extreme event happens as defined by the contract, then the person who paid some money will get much more money. Excellent, that's good, now I can read. So the small insurance policy says that if you pay 1 coin, then if a hurricane of category 2 or higher makes landfall in your country and a director experiences a crisis, then you get 6 coins. So you pay 1, most years you get nothing, but sometimes you get 6. Hurricane will be determined by what the cards say. And if there's a doubt, I'm the Supreme Court of Justice of this game, I will make executive decisions. Small policy, pay 1 coin. If a hurricane to category 2 or more, you get some money. The big insurance policy is fundamentally similar. You pay some money up front, in this case, 3 coins. And this is the payment done by the nation, not just by you as a director of transport or agriculture. Mr. Minister of Finance, who is over there, is the only one who has the authority on behalf of the nation to pay and to sign the paperwork to buy this big insurance policy or the small one. The big one costs 3, which is much more, but gets a payout of 5 in case of a small hurricane, category 1, 2, or 3, and it's a payout of 10 if we draw that card with the giant die. So now it's up to you all to make decisions. How many shields are you going to get and how much insurance your country should get? Should we just limit it to the 2 insurance now and then we talk about the other one? So you see that there are 2 other cards, but for the purpose of this game, let's say that the financial system is not ready to give you those offers. So you can only get small insurance as a country or big insurance or nothing. Now, how are you going to talk to each other?
Because
1 moment, please.
2 coins and the big insurance is actually 3.
Yes.
So we don't have enough.
Well, but maybe some of the other players are going to be willing to give you some coins to help you buy.
Yeah, but the reappropriation itself is 2 coins.
Right, so we're going to play only with small insurance and big insurance for now. Now, Mr. Minister of Finance here was saying that he has enough in his national budget to buy the small insurance, but for the big insurance, he doesn't have enough. If you as a nation, as a cabinet, want big insurance, someone has to give some coins to the Minister of Finance. And you all started with 11, and the most you can spend is 10. So are you going to do something about it or not? Mary seems to be saying, what the hell, I'm going to get a lot of thumbs up. Daniel, Mary is indicating that she doesn't see the option of giving a coin. I couldn't hear what you said. Oh, interesting. Right. I am being told that the button that says give coin was grayed out. Oh, give coin to bid. Right. So you have to scroll down. Thank you for clarifying. If you want to give coin for the bid of the small insurance or the big insurance, I think you may scroll down. And Daniel, you cannot see it because you're a journalist. You don't have coins to give to the minister. At least in this mechanism.
There is a leak saying we have enough points.
All right. So Devon, Mary, and Raja may be able and willing to give a coin for insurance purposes. And I am going to propose that you go to the chat. And let's see. In the chat, maybe we can invite Rashmin and Mary and Raja and Devon to share any comments about what they would want. No insurance and keep the money, or small insurance in case something happens, or big insurance in case something big happens. What's your preference? By the way, I may be in connection failure.
I'm in the chat.
Oh, okay. So you can chat here. Well, Mary is going to write in the chat over here. Or you can speak.
I'll speak it.
Yeah.
I'm not in the chat, but I've had 2 years of no impacts, so I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing.
Okay.
And only doing 2 shields, but I think we should do big insurance for that reason. Because I have a strong investment program happening right now, and I'd prefer to continue doing that and not interrupting my development gains.
I like to hear from Raja and Devon, although it looks like my Zoom or whatever you call this hopping is not showing me. But Mary made a compelling statement. She wants a lot of thumbs up, and she wants someone else to pay for crisis if crisis happens. That's a very reasonable choice if others agree. Yeah. Mr. Minister of Finance, do you have any opinions? Let me pass you this.
Yes, Mary does make a compelling case, but it really depends on the consensus of the other line ministry, because if we do get a big shock, all of us are going to suffer together. So, but I do concur that purchasing of the big insurance policy is the most prudent option at the moment.
So let's do this. If others, Devon,
It looks like we just lost Pablo for a moment, but they're in the process of reconnecting right now, and they should be back online with us shortly. Let's see, Raja says, I have 4 coins. I would spend 1 for micro and 3 for macro insurance policies. Wow, that seems like a really good position to take. And it looks like Pablo is back with us now. I'll hand it over.
all right. I see that Raja is willing not only to buy the big insurance and the small insurance, which would be giving even greater payouts. We haven't heard from Devon, but that sounds like 2 out of 3 cabinet ministers are saying go for it, 1 going for more than the other. Devon, you can speak now. Devon says yes. Mr. Minister, I'm not sure that the insurance company is going to be willing to give the 2 policies one after the other. What's your preference in terms of how much insurance to buy?
Also, from a strategic perspective, it will be better to actually choose the insurance policy by itself, because it actually covers the other part. If you look at the return on the small insurance policies, it doesn't cover for category 1 policies in the first place. So I think we'll just stick with the purchasing of the big insurance policy. That will also allow us to look at potential other instruments in the future as well.
Okay. So, my friends.
So can we just,
yes.
So, as Mr. Finance, I will proceed to purchase the big insurance
All
policy.
right. It's your choice. You can do what you want if you have the money. You may piss off some of your cabinet colleagues, but that's what's happening. And so, friends, the deadline is going to come soon. Regardless of whether Mr. Minister of Finance pushes the right buttons or not, this is going to advance. So you have about 20 seconds.
So Purchased.
Looks like Mr. Minister of Finance has already purchased it. The season, the rainy season is coming soon. Daniel, if you want to activate the countdown, and then we move on. By the way, I have a question for all of you. Now we have two options, because I want to make it very clear. The goal of today is not to see who is the winner. The goal of today is to learn. My preference is to shuffle, 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 and see what happens. You may get a hurricane or not. If you want, by consensus, we could trigger one of the hurricanes for the purpose of seeing how it works. Devon and Raja and Mary, do you have a preference? This, of course, doesn't happen in nature. You cannot ask nature to give you this or that. I don't think so, Devon. I'm not sure if you can speak and be heard. You can try. Otherwise, you can type on the chat. Here we have a non-player asking for a hurricane. Devon, I see that you said yes, but I don't know if that yes was, it was about the previous one. So, do you have a preference for forcing a hurricane so you experience a payout, or shuffle, shuffle, shuffle and see what happens? I don't see answers. Do I have your permission for me to shuffle, shuffle? Shuffle, shuffle, shuffle. Oh, Daniel's. Oh, Raja says Raja wants a category 3, and Devon wants to force it. So I have to tell you, I have a nephew who is a magician, and he taught me tricks on how to force one, but I didn't practice it. So if I were to draw one, oh look, I randomly draw the big one. But let's do as you are saying, and let's draw a category 3, which would have been this card. I need to remember the tricks of my nephew. Okay, so we're going to do this. If this is drawn, what we are going to draw is a category 8, but before that, we need to reread the policy. Do you remember what the big policy said? The big insurance policy. It said that having paid that, you get 10 coins for a large hurricane, you meaning the Minister of Finance, or 5 coins for a small hurricane. This was a small hurricane, so having paid 3, you're getting 5. So it's a net gain of 2, which is enough to avert 1 broken heart for one of the players. Is that a good deal? It's better than nothing for a small hurricane. It's definitely a great deal for a big hurricane. So, one moment, please.
The small hurricane policy did not actually cover category 1
Correct.
level hurricanes. So purchasing on the big insurance policy was also prudent from that particular perspective as well.
Interesting. You know, Minister of Finance wants to try to protect against all evil forces out there. There's only so much we can do, of course. So, category 3 hurricane, as you can see in the top. That means that we're going to be rolling an 8-sided die. Instead of using the manual one, it's more agile if we ask Daniel to start the random generator. Let's see what happens. Oh, by the way, did everyone have 2 shields? Interesting. I thought that looked like interesting. So Raja and Devon said, yeah, those were too many shields. I like those thumbs up. And Mary made a persuasive argument. I predict that you will regret that. Because even if you have some insurance, their money will run out. But I don't know what will happen. Event 1 was the 1. Event 2 was the 1. And we keep going. Right. It means that the money has gone from the insurance company to the Minister of Finance. So if you look at the Minister of Finance, Rashmin has 6 coins when he recently had only 1. Very good. We move on. Event 3 also was no problem. I am being proven wrong. Boop. Event 4 is a 6. First shield is gone. And there's 6 events to go. Let's see what happens. Also, I want to highlight that Devon and Mary have no coins. Ooh, that was an 8. That was an unprecedented event. People are blaming climate change. 2 shields gone. No one has any shields left. And we're only halfway through the hurricane season. Brace on, my friends. Let's see what happens. Event 6 is about to come. There you go. Look at Mr. Minister of Finance scratching his head in desperation. Wait, Daniel, no rolling, because now Mr. Minister of Finance has to figure out how to solve it. Raja has one coin already. So Mr. Minister of Finance, if you give one coin to Raja, Raja may be able to pay the 2 coins that are needed to avert the crisis. It will avert the broken heart, and it will rescue 2 of the 3 thumbs up that were turned into thumbs down. There's a lot of suspense because we need the money to move fast. And meanwhile, Devon is really eager to do something. I don't understand Mary. Oh, Mary just gave up and just has nothing to do.
So,
Yeah.
Give point to Devon and Raja, I guess.
Yes. For some reason, Raja seems to have lost the chance to do it. So I hope you can give the coin to Devon. This is what happens in the real world. You may have money from some policy in somewhere, but if you don't have the mechanism for the Minister of Finance to give it to the director, or for the director to spend the money fast, you may not be able to avert the crisis. Can you figure out how to give the coin to Devon?
Yeah, I have given the coin to Devon.
So Devon, you should have now enough money to pay for averting the crisis. I think you have to scroll up and down. It says Devon has only 1. Devon needs another coin. I'm not sure how things are going on, but this is what I see. Okay, apparently Devon, now you have 2 coins. Yes, crisis averted for Devon. The other 2 players have already a broken heart.
So because they already accepted it, you can't give one?
That's what happens. Apparently, look at Mary's face. Look at that pout. What happened is that she accepted the crisis before Mr. Minister of Finance could do it. Exactly, taking responsibility. But guess what? The people in your nation wanted you to wait and beg on your knees for that Minister of Finance to give you coins. In any case, that was event 6. And now we're going to move on to event 7. Let's see what happens. Suspense. I can hear the drum. Oh, another 7. And a lot of broken hearts. And Mary, you should have seen her. She had her hand extended forward, asking the minister to put some coins there. Now, I see that the minister, Rashmin, has only 4 coins, and 6 coins are needed. So if you want to see his face of, oh my goodness, what am I going to do now?
Okay.
Who is going to get some coins? As of now, look, Raja has a coin. Okay. I think Raja deserves to be supported, but I'm only a commentator here. You do what you want.
Well, also, Devon has 4 prosperity points, no? So Mary
right.
Raja is down to 2. So okay.
So Minister of Finance has to make decisions fast because things are broken and the agricultural sector cannot get the seeds to the silos and all sorts of things. So there are cows in the streets. And those cows in the streets, if it were in my country, Argentina, they would soon become barbecue. So you want to do the right thing and deal with this crisis. Okay. 1 of the 3 directors has averted the crisis. That was Mary. Raja still has only 1 coin. Mr. Minister, would you like to give a coin to Raja? Because Raja right now cannot avert the crisis in the absence of some federal support. I see the minister scrambling for the buttons and the forms and the...
Pretty poor performance from disaster management. In completely diverting the blame, from Minister of Finance to this.
Yes. Okay, let's see what happens. Oh, and the journalists are having a feast reporting on all the things that are going wrong. Okay, Raja, now you should have enough coins to pay for averting the crisis. I hope you can find the button. This is the moment where bureaucracy is unhelpful. You need to... Oh, yes! Congratulations! Raja has just averted the crisis. Whew, I can feel my heartbeat. Holy smokes. We are at event 7, so we have 3 rolls to go. No one has any shields left because Mary was very persuasive and others accepted that advice. And this shows the limitations of money for response. Yeah, it's good that you have some wealth in the pockets of the minister. Oh, no way. while I was talking, another shock came. And now, how many coins in the hands of the minister? Nothing. There's nothing you can do, my friends. Rashmin has 0 coins. Devon has 0 coins. Raja has 1 coin, which is almost enough, but not enough.
It also shows the importance of talking to your line ministries and learning from them, because Raja was right. We should have bought the small insurance policy.
Exactly. So there's nothing you can do about this crisis. The journalists keep writing about all the streets in trouble and so on, but we have to move on to the next 2 roles. And as of now, there's only 1 thumbs up left. That's very little prosperity gain, and it could be lost if more shocks come. Event 9, another shock. There you go. My forecast, unfortunately, is proven right, and there's even 1 more roll to go. So look, a small hurricane hit. You said, what the hell, insurance will deal with it, so overcompensated, and you embraced a future that got you into trouble. Event 10, thank goodness, was the one, but you are all very, very much in trouble. As of now, Raja has 1 coin and 10 thumbs up. Mary from the past has 16 thumbs up, but she managed to bring a lot of broken hearts to the entire team. And there's 3 broken hearts for each of the line ministers. The media doesn't sell many newspapers because people don't have money to buy the newspaper, but they're having a very, very engaged audience. Whew. Do we have a chance for another season, Daniel? If so, can we advance? You may just replicate the last season if needed. So let me pause here and invite one of the members of the team here with me to share any comments about how what has happened in this past season relates to the real world. What are the similarities? What are the differences?
Sure. I think it's actually much more realistic than we thought. I can think of already a couple of countries where they thought they were covered. And in some cases, they did not look at the fine print of the insurance policies and suffered subsequently. Or in other cases, they thought, okay, we have this insurance policy, so we could really progress on our investments. But as I don't know, like with the London buses, they come in clusters, no? So, and that's kind of what really happened in real life. But also how we kind of also need to kind of prepare. One of the key issues now is how we're going to prepare for the next season, because the decisions we have made in our current season is going to impact our availability of funds for the next season as well. Over to you. Thanks.
Very well. So we are ready for the next season, which is going to be like the previous one with 2 differences. One is that you'll have access. Actually, Daniel, if you want to show the various instruments, excellent. And maybe I can ask my colleagues here to zoom in so I can read the precise.
And we've momentarily lost Pablo, but he's back again.
I am prone to getting lost. So, like before, in this season, we will have access to small insurance policy. You get 1 coin, and in case of a hurricane category 2 or higher, you get a payout of 6. You can also, like before, buy the big insurance policy. You pay 3 upfront, and you get 5 in case of a small hurricane or 10 in case of a big hurricane. But now there are 2 additional options. One is called partial reappropriation, which means that directors can give coins to the Minister of Finance in real time. Until now, you could only give coins to the Minister of Finance before the crisis, a normal day, to support insurance purchase. But now, during the crisis, If someone has more coins than the other and there's an inclination to be kind, one of the directors of transport, Raja could give a coin to the Minister of Finance, who then can give it to Mary, or Devon could give a coin to Minister of Finance to protect Raja, and so on. That costs 2 coins. You need to change the policy guidelines and the procedural, administrative, bureaucratic mechanisms that move money around. You cannot just say, whatever, here's the money. So if you want partial reappropriation, you have to pay 2 coins. The other one is a little bit more complicated, but it's actually a very interesting instrument that the World Bank and others are proposing to share. It's called a contingent loan. Loan is not like insurance. Insurance, you pay up front, and if something happens, you get some money later. If nothing happens, you lose that money, the premium. In a contingent loan, it's just like a loan. You ask for money and you get some money, and then you have to repay with some interest. But a contingent loan is one that is agreed ahead of time, and the loan is activated, is given to you, contingent on something happens that is agreed by both sides, the lender and the borrower. In this case, it could be something about hurricanes. So you could write a proposed contingent loan contract, you as a team, with your Minister of Finance, your Director of Agriculture, your Director of Transport, and so on, could propose a loan to the financial institution, to the lender, and you could say, hey, how about if I get hit by this kind of hurricane, you loan me this much money, and then I offer to repay in this way. So you could borrow 1 coin and repay 1 coin later, or you could offer to borrow 50 coins and repay 51 coins in the next century, which is a very bad deal for the loan lender because it's a lot of money and maybe you won't repay, or any combination that you want. Indeed, if you click on that one somewhere, you can see the mechanisms of how that can work. What we would normally do now, whether we are face-to-face or in a normal Zoom conference, is that we will invite each cabinet, each group of Minister of Finance plus the various directors to have a conversation about, do we want a big policy? Do we want the partial reappropriation? Do we want the contingent loan? And if so, what kind of contingent loan? So now is your chance to have that conversation. What I'm going to propose, without consulting the Minister of Finance, is because you cannot speak, those of you who are online, Devon and Raja, but you can express yourselves in the chat. So why don't I introduce you to your Minister of Finance, Rashmin, who you've heard before, and you all can have a dialogue over the coming maybe 5 or 7 minutes at most. Do you want insurance again? Do you want contingent loan as well? Or do you want only contingent loan and partial reappropriation or something like that? Mr. Minister of Finance, here's the cabinet waiting for your guidance.
Sure. Thank you, everyone. So one of the things that we could do is use a risk layering strategy. So one of the key things might be a combination of different types of instruments. So we see there's flexibility in the contingent loan, right? So we could actually define what those parameters actually be, but it's also free upfront. So if we purchase that, we don't actually have to pay for it right now, but in the event of a disaster, you could actually use it. We could also consider, again, purchasing the big hurricane policy as well, because now that might cover for a bigger shocks. Remember last time we suffered because we didn't take both the small insurance policy as well as the big insurance policy. But the small insurance policy was less flexible, whereas the contingent loan is going to give you that flexibility. So a combination of the partial reappropriation, the contingent loan, and the big insurance policy is something that we could actually use. And to do that, we also need to have 5 coins. Now, as Ministry of Finance, I already have 2 coins, so it'll be great if each of the line ministries provide 1 coin each. Does that make sense? Any questions?
Juan says yes. Makes sense. Any thoughts, Mary?
Yeah,
We're
Mary's
good.
okay. Raja?
Because now we're consulting with all line ministries after our last experience.
And we have consensus? Exactly. They want the whole idea is to mix the loans and the insurance policies. That's exactly it. And we are then kind of layering it, right? So first we could then use the contingent loans, and for bigger events, we could use the big insurance policy. Raja, I don't hear from you, but I'm assuming you're okay with that as well. So if we now want to purchase so can Dewan, Mary, and Raja give 1 coin each? Okay, so need think one more.
We still have Raja there?
I don't know. I don't know whether we have Raja. Raja, are you connected?
Daniel, not sure if you can check as well. Right, not sure.
I can check it. No, it looks like we've lost Raja.
Okay.
All right. Okay, not a problem. Okay, so we might actually have a problem because if Ministry of Disaster Management is ill, we might experience a big crisis quite quickly. Oh, he says he's back. Great, Raja's back. Okay. Hi, Raja. So, Raja, the common consensus was that we would have a combination of instruments of a big insurance policy, a contingent loan, and a partial reappropriation. To do that, we need a total of 5 coins. I already have 2. So if you could give 1 coin, that would be great, because Mary and Devon have already provided 1 coin.
I think that's a legit question, Raja.
So Raja's question is, will I get it back? In the event of a disaster, I'm pretty sure we'll get it back.
All right, so we're good.
Yep. Okay. Very good.
Okay, so back over to Pablo.
So
how can I transfer?
I think what's one thing I need to do. I need to.
Yeah, you have to fill the actual application in your own phone. Yeah.
Can Daniel, because I can do it on my screen, but they won't be able to see it. The options.
Oh yeah, they will. I predict that they will. Yes.
Okay.
Daniel, can you confirm that if if Minister of Finance Rashmin goes ahead with the multiple investment decisions that you just made, will the members of the cabinet, Raja, Mary, and Devon, will they be able to see the contingent loan proposal?
I can share my screen and show them the contingent loan proposal.
Just went mute, Daniel, accidentally, I guess.
No, I took it off mute. Can you not hear me?
Oh yeah, now I can hear you. Yes.
Yes, so I can share the admin area, and that will show them the contingent loan proposal.
Perfect.
Yeah, sure.
That would be very nice. Thank you. So Now I'm being reconnected to the session or something. Excellent. So Raja, don't forget that you as a disaster management expert, you need to go ahead and make your investment decisions on shields and thumbs up. It's not just about the insurance decisions, it's also about your direct responsibilities. All right, here comes the first thumbs up from Raja. And meanwhile, the journalist has been writing lots of news. And very soon, we are hoping to be able to see the contingent loan that Mr. Minister of Finance is proposing to the lending organizations. Now, one thing I didn't mention is that you can propose a contingency loan mechanism, but the financial institution may agree or not. They may have other priorities. They may not even like you because of some past relationship. They may propose to add a little small print that your minister doesn't like. Everything in the real world needs to be negotiated, and the small print needs to be read. For example, how do we know if we call it a hurricane? Is it going to be the National Meteorological Agency or some international agency? You know, things can get complicated. But what we know is that a contingent loan can be a fantastic instrument for accessing funding fast. Usually it comes with some kinds of conditions. You know, they say, sure, I'll give you the loan fast, but you have to, before the disaster, show me how you're going to spend that money. Are you going to give all of it to your cousin, the minister, the director of transport? Or are you going to do a rapid assessment? Or are you going to give it to the Red Cross? What are you going to do with that money? Different lenders have different preferences. The World Bank is, of course, a leader in helping countries, both ministers of finance and the other line ministries, to anticipate how to get ready for the contingency of an extreme event and how to set mechanisms in place to understand what can be impacted in terms of your own infrastructure, in terms of your own services, in terms of salaries and so on, and how to accelerate the flow of money from the contingent loan or the insurance or the other things. Have you heard of CAT-DDO? You know, you could go for a catastrophe deferred drawdown option, which is another kind of contingent loan-like thing that gives you money in time of need. But there's all sorts of reasons why these are not easy. It's to your advantage to learn about them before it's too late. So, Mr. Minister of Finance, have we submitted the loan application?
No, I just want to let them know what the options are.
Okay, so Daniel, could you share the admin area with the contingent loan in the screen so that we can all see what the options are? And actually,
Well, I haven't received a loan application yet.
Yeah, no, I had misunderstood Rashmin. What he was saying is if we can share what the Minister of Finance sees. Actually, Rashmin, you explain.
So, Daniel, if I don't know whether you could show like the other screen that the options for the contingent loan application, no, where it says okay, the loan amount, the hurricane categories, and the payout structure.
No, I can't show that screen. Only the Minister of Finance can see that.
Okay, no problem. So to the line ministries, I'll just propose, okay, and what we actually are seeing. So the whole idea is that we could, for example, request a loan of, say, 5 coins, and we could look at all categories rather than just specifying the categories. And also, because we, as Pablo mentioned, that it needs to be appealing to the lender, we also need to consider giving more than 5 coins back, in terms of the payout. So one proposal, given that we are talking about all categories, is that we'll go for either, say, 6 coins or 7 coins. But we'd like to hear from the line ministries whether this payout structure and the terms are something that they would actually agree on as well. Okay, Raja, are you agreeing to the payout structure that I was actually proposing, or to Devon's question? Because I think Devon, you actually the payment structure. Okay. Okay. So Devon, the idea is that you can have multiple instruments that complement each other, right? So the insurance, if you see for a hurricane category 4 or 5, it would get pay 10 points. So the idea is that we could actually have that as well as the contingent loans. And because we are just using those 5 coins that we have, I already have, then we are actually covered. Okay. All right. Great. Okay. So I think we are in agreement. Mary, anything on your side?
Looks like this is an unusually peaceful and harmonious cabinet of ministerial level people. I have seen, both in the real world and in this game, almost fist fight. No, don't give that money to that insurance people, and worse. But looks like you have some semblance of cohesive thinking. There are some questions asked that apparently Mr. Minister of Finance kind of led you to believe that if the money comes, the money will flow. We will see how things happen for real. He's smiling nervously. DRM agencies from MCII, right. I have experienced the generosity of the Munich Climate Insurance Initiative in helping people understand how things go. By the way, Raja and MCII, the same for Devon and the same for everyone else. This game can be your tool for doing your work. All you need to do is to have a conversation, if you're a government entity, with the World Bank colleagues. You can also converse directly with Daniel to see whether this activity can help you all, because sometimes it's easier to have conversations about insurance and contingent loans and risks and hurricanes in the context of gameplay. I see that Daniel is sharing screen, and there's a awaiting approval contingent loan from the Rainmakers. That's a very good name. So you would be protected in case of categories 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. You're proposing to borrow 5 coins if one of those categories happen, and the payment, the repayment will be nothing on the first year after the year of the hurricane, and then 1, and then 1, and then 2, and then 2, when you hope that your national economy begins to pick up, because the money has helped the Minister of Transport fix the port and restore the bridges and so on, and the same with agriculture, and the same with disaster management. So repay 2, so a total of 6 for borrowing 5. Maybe if you try to, and this is after 5 years, so 20% net after 5 years, if you think of compound interest, it's a questionably good deal. But this could be a lender that has a development intention in mind, as there exists. So let's say, for the sake of this experience, that contingent loan proposal is hereby approved. Let's transition from awaiting approval to yes, approved. Tick. Look at the happiness. How often do you feel so much happiness with one tick? And Daniel, I like that. It looks approved. Everyone is happy that should there be trouble, we experience awesomeness. And now it's time to move on to the session. We can go back to the decision line. And now you have made decisions on how many shields and how many thumbs up. The normal world will allow you to revise your decisions based on your knowledge of financial instruments. So, Daniel, if you want to share the decision lines again of how many umbrellas and how many buckets, thank you very much. So Raja has 1 coin left, appropriate, disaster management needs some money. Others have run out of coins. They've again taken a lot of risk like before, but now they seem to have more sophisticated financial instruments at hand. Friends, I give you the same choice. Should I randomly draw a card from here, or do you want to impose on yourself? I don't give you the choice of imposing on yourself a good season. You can either choose a medium a small hurricane or choose a big hurricane, or leave your choice in the hands of randomness. Do you have a preference?
Carrie wants a big hurricane.
Carrie wants a big hurricane.
You can see how
She's not carrying any responsibility. So how about Raja and Devon and Daniel? Do you have a preference for just draw from the random deck of cards where the most likely scenario is no disaster, or do you want to experience one of these things? Let's see. Daniel goes for huge as well. The hardest, the biggest. Okay, so let's do the following. I'm going to look for the big one. Here's one of those cards. And here's the other one. And I am going to shuffle. And we're going to draw. Oh my goodness, a big hurricane is hitting your nation. So remind me what you have. You have the contingent loan, which pays for anyone, and you get only 5, which is enough for 2 line ministries for 1 shock. And you have which insurance? The big insurance, and you don't have partial reappropriation. Oh, you do have partial reappropriation as well. So Raja, I predict that people will be begging for your help. Now, if you help them, you run out of coins for yourself. My experience is that people consistently underestimate how bad a big hurricane is. Daniel, instead of a 20-sided die, can you make it a 12-sided die? Because otherwise, there's no way that this team will survive, and I want them to have a chance. So let's make it a 12-sided die. And Daniel, we're in your hands. Feel free to unmute. And if you don't mind, I'd like to hear from you the roll, because we have delay in when the roll happens. So the two of us can have our microphones on. And
okay. I cannot choose a 12-sided die, but I did change it to a category 4 hurricane.
Okay. Good.
Yeah. All I can do at this stage is change hurricanes. I can't actually affect the die themselves.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry that I didn't ask for this earlier. Well, I didn't know that I was going to ask for. Oh, I see. Did we go through the? Yeah. Okay. In your hands, Daniel. Get us through the season. The countdown is coming. I see that Devon said, you know what? I'd like a little bit more protection here. Mary was like, hell, I'm going to stick with it. And there we go. Time is up. First event, no problem. Looks like a normal season. Uh-oh. First shock. Mr. Minister of Finance is already somewhat concerned. I see, right, behind the coins is the shield that was blocked, that was lost. Moving on. Everyone has at least 2 shields left, so no problem. Event 3 was very benign. Event 4 was also very benign. Raja is saying, how much do we get from the payout? Well, look, Rashmin has 14 coins total. So it was a big hurricane. You got 10 coins from the insurance payout. And how about the contingent loan? You should be receiving 5 from that. So Daniel, the contingent loan is now formally approved. I believe you are capable of manually giving on behalf of the lending institution.
I think it was given.
Oh, it was given already.
That's why 14.
But it was 10 plus 5 should add up to 15.
It's -1 before.
Oh, you had entered into a loan with some loan shark before. Okay, we're good to go. My apologies. That was event 5. Guys, you're doing very well. This was a very generous and gentle hurricane so far. Moving on. Oops, 12. Oh, it's like yesterday in Santa Catarina. Did you see the rain? So everyone lost a few shields, but even Mary has shields. Moving on to event 7. No problem. Let's see what oops, a 10. Mary has no more shields. Others have 1 or 2, and there's 2 to go. It seems to me that your Minister of Finance has a good stash of coins, as evidenced in the 9th one. Now, Mary, what are you going to do? She's pointing to the Minister of Finance with a demanding face. So let's see, there is a crisis. The journalist is writing like crazy. Agriculture has been hit with a crisis. And let's see, the minister has one coin only, not enough to deal with the crisis. Now the minister has two, the Mary from Agriculture. The crisis, yes. Notice that she still loses a thumbs up, which became gray thumbs down. But it's much better than having a broken heart. That was event 9. Last roll. Tan-taran, drum roll. No problem. Look at you, friends. Of course, it helped to have such a benign hurricane. But should it have been normally worse, your Minister of Finance has still 12 coins left. There could have been a lot of additional shocks that could have been managed.
It's also congrats to the team as well, given the amount of mixture of prosperity and the thumbs up. We're actually very, very good, kind of really hit the sweet spot over there. So big congrats to the whole team.
So what we're going to do now is, first of all, celebrate. Yay, congratulations, team. No broken hearts. One little bit of a moment of heartbeat palpitations with Mary and her crisis, but it was averted. Now, bear in mind that there's 12 coins in the hands of the minister, and those 12 coins are, now it's the time of trouble, right? What are we going to do with the payout when it wasn't needed? And different people say, oh, give it to me because the teachers and, the other, nothing is ever easy. But it is my hope that through the fiction of this game, you, especially Raja and Devon, who have been active, engaged participants, you got a taste of 3 things. First, how under normal circumstances, we tend to be underprepared for the financial consequences of extreme events. Second, the extent to which appropriate, intelligent, and timely disaster risk financing choices can help you get ready for and deal with the shocks that are going to hit your country sooner or later. And third, even under these extremely unfavorable circumstances of the flooding derailing us from the flooded university where we would have met face to face, and the internet where made me disappear and getting lost all the time like in the real world, still we managed to, over a period of, how long have we been playing? We started at 9:45 or something like that. So it's been about an hour and a half or just under 2, and we got a playful experience where even I had a blast. I was constantly dealing with where's the WhatsApp message and so on. But this is fun, and fun is functional for learning and dialogue. Even though you couldn't speak and we couldn't hear you, Devon and Raja, we could tell that you were engaged. You could tell that your text messages were playful. So as one of the game designers in this experience, by the way, I want to highlight the important role of my partner, Jano Mender de Suarez, in the design and polishment of this game. But what we have offered you is a taste of how serious fun can help you learn, engage, and nurture dialogues with others. As you heard in the introduction, there's been multiple sessions with ministries of finance across the Caribbean and beyond, used in many sessions. So if you want to learn more about these kinds of games, Daniel, maybe you want to copy paste in the chat the link to your team's work so that they can see what's going on. And I would say that now is a good time for debrief. And the debriefing, there are 2 options. One is that I keep talking at you, and I have my questions and my ideas. But let's start with the following. I invite first for especially Raja and Devon to share with us at least one emotion that you experienced during the game. You can type either just one word or share a somewhat long sentence about how did it feel? What emotions happened? How was your skin? How was your gut? Which I'm sure was different from your typical PowerPoint when someone talks about catastrophe deferred drawdown options and parametric insurance and the like. So first, one emotion. And second, one insight. Do you have any thoughts about risk financing, insurance, contingent loans, and ministries of finance and so on that was triggered by this game. And after you have shared one insight and or one emotion, I'm going to pass it over to our colleagues, Kerry, Rashmin, and Mary, to pick up from here and see how we can start talking about the real world inspired by the game experience. So over to you. Thank you, Raja, for the kind words about the exciting game. Thank you, Devon. I'm glad you think it's an amazing game. I'll go silent. I'll let you write something, and I'm going first confused, then nervous, and then exciting to make decision. And you got lucky. But even when you were not lucky, you did well. I'll let Devon type, and I'm going to pass it over to whoever wants to take it. Thank you, friends. Bye.
No, thank you on my side as well. And if there are any questions, more than happy to answer them and also see how this kind of gameplay can actually be enriching not only the dialogue with ministries of finance, but also the other line ministries, because it actually brings together the challenges that other line ministries face as well. So again, thank you so much for joining, and happy to answer. Yeah, and of course, a big thanks to Daniel and team as well. Really appreciate it. Mary?
I see one message from Devon as well. I like how unpredictable the outcomes were. I was confused at first also, but after a few seasons, we seemed to get better at understanding the risk and working together to utilize tools that were provided to avert disaster. Excellent. That means the game was a success in teaching and learning and growing.
And Devon and Raja, maybe you have questions if you want about the game, but most importantly about the actual instruments and the role of the World Bank and partners in making these available to you and your colleagues. Devon, I don't know enough about what you do, but I know that Raja, through MCII, there are overlaps in what this World Bank team is doing or what MCII has been trying to accomplish. So if you, nice, USAID. I actually, one of my first insurance games after the origins with Oxfam was for one of the USAID teams. I had fun with your team there. So if you have any questions about what now, is there anything that you could do on your own or with some technical support from the World Bank or reaching out to someone else to help you explore this space, feel free to type in the chat. And now I'm going to officially announce that I'm stepping out of this because I am very prone to open my mouth and I'm no longer needed to open my mouth. Devon and Raja, any questions or suggestions for the World Bank team? This is your chance. Oh, and I should. May I pass it to you to wrap it up or say goodbye?
Okay, no questions it seems. So once again, thank you very much for joining.